We've all seen those incredible nature documentaries, right? But what's really going on when the cameras turn off? Today, we're going to dive into our very complicated and, let's be honest, often contradictory relationship with wildlife, using the Wikipedia article on the topic as our guide. So, let's get into it.
Okay, first thing, when I say the word wildlife, what's the first image that pops into your head? If you're anything like me, you're probably picturing a lion on the savannah, maybe a grizzly bear, or a tiger in the jungle, the big, majestic animals. But that picture, it's only a tiny, tiny piece of the real story.
Because you see, the actual scientific definition is so much broader. It includes all undomesticated organisms. We're not just talking animals here, but plants, fungi, and even the organisms that live wild right in our own backyards.
And getting this broader definition is really key, because it helps us see that our connection to the natural world isn't just something that happens in faraway places. No, it's happening all around us, all the time.
Think about it. Every single ecosystem has its own unique wildlife. This includes the foxes that are learning to navigate our suburbs, the birds nesting on city skyscrapers, and yep, even the rats and feral cats in our alleys. By definition, they're all wildlife. And this is where our story gets, well, complicated. Our relationship with all this wildlife is a total paradox. On the one hand, we have this deep, deep fascination, and on the other, a history of relentless exploitation.
This push and pull is really at the heart of everything. We celebrate wildlife in our media, we feature it in our religions, and we'll travel halfway around the world just to catch a glimpse of it. But at the exact same time, we trade it, we eat it, and our own overconsumption puts unbelievable pressure on these very same creatures.
And this fascination, it runs deep in our culture. For decades, shows from pioneers like David Attenborough have brought the wonders of the natural world right into our living rooms. And across so many cultures, animals hold this profound spiritual meaning, from the sacred eagle in many Native American traditions to the revered cow in Hinduism.
But then there's the other side of that coin. This quote from conservationist Chris Shepard just hits you with a stark reality. The very places we praise for their amazing wildlife are often ground zero for the illegal trade that threatens to wipe them out completely. And the scale of this trade is just staggering. It's hard to wrap your head around. We're talking about a global industry worth billions of dollars every single year, and it affects hundreds of millions of individual plants and animals. It's in the food we eat, the pets we keep, and even in some traditional medicines.
All of this immense pressure has led to some truly devastating consequences. We're now living through a period of loss so profound that scientists have a name for it: the Great Unraveling.
According to a 2020 report from the World Wildlife Fund, the populations of monitored wildlife have dropped by an average of 68% since 1970. Let that sink in for a second. More than 2/3 of these animal populations just gone in less than a single human lifetime. And if that wasn't staggering enough, a landmark UN report estimates that 1 million plant and animal species are now threatened with extinction because of us. That's 1 million different threads in the web of life, all at risk of being snipped.
All of this puts our current moment into a pretty terrifying context. There's a wide consensus among scientists that we have kicked off the 6th mass extinction event in our planet's history. But unlike the other 5, this one isn't being caused by an asteroid or some supervolcano. It's being caused by us.
So, how in the world did we get here? Well, the source material points to 4 main drivers behind all this destruction. Let's break them down. All right. So these 4 horsemen of the wildlife apocalypse are overkill, habitat destruction, introduced species, and a really fascinating, scary concept called chains of extinction. Okay, first up is overkill. This one's pretty straightforward. It's basically when we hunt or fish a species faster than it can make babies and repopulate. This is especially damaging for animals that grow slowly, like a lot of large fish species. They just can't keep up. Next up, habitat destruction. I mean, every species needs a home, right? When we clear forests for farmland or drain wetlands to build cities, we're not just destroying those homes, we're breaking them up into tiny little pieces. The patches that are left become like isolated islands, which makes it so much harder for the wildlife that's left to survive. Number 3 is introduced species. Sometimes an animal or plant that's totally harmless in its native environment can become an absolute menace in a new one. Just think about rabbits in Australia, or what cats can do to bird populations on islands. They can completely devastate native wildlife that never had a chance to evolve defenses against them.
And finally, we have what might be the most insidious one: chains of extinction. This is a domino effect. Here's a real-world example. In India, certain birds eat the insects off of cattle. Simple enough. But if the birds' nesting habitats are destroyed, the birds vanish. Without the birds to control the insects, insect-borne diseases explode, and then the cattle start to decline. It's a chain reaction, where one loss triggers another and another.
And all of this, it brings us to the final and most critical question. The evidence is overwhelming. We are the cause of this crisis. But here's the thing. That also means we are the only possible solution. So, what happens now? The next move is ours.